You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-Mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Thursday, 18th day of April, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. Now, the first live broadcast is private, members only, and those who are taking our 1-week free trial. This broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. Now, the first broadcast, again, is members only, those taking the 1-week free trial. If you have not taken your 1-week free trial, you can do so right now by going to mytradingiq.com, and at the very top of the page, there's a link. It says 5-day free trial. No credit card required. We foot the bill so you can determine if trading is right for you. Now, when you click that link to take the trial, you're going to go to a registration form. Take a minute to make sure you fill it out properly, because it's an automated process, and if you don't fill it out properly, then we don't get it, and you don't get a free trial. Okay. It doesn't matter what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day that you sign up for the trial. Like today's Thursday. So you're thinking, well, gee, if I sign up today, I'm only going to get 1 day. Tomorrow, Friday. Not true. You get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend. The weekend doesn't count against you. So you're really turning a 5-day trial into a 7-day trial. You go, well, what good are these charts and indicators over the weekend? Well, number 1, you get to familiarize yourself with them. And number 2, some markets never sleep. Not even on the weekend. So just go to mytradingiq.com, click the link at the very top of the page, fill out the registration form, and typically same day, we'll get your desktop set up, we'll get your indicators indicating, then your trial will actually start the following day. In this case, that would be Friday, tomorrow. The weekend doesn't count against you, so then you'll get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week before you have to make the decision as to whether or not trading is right for you. When the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and come back for this broadcast. And there's a couple different ways to join the afternoon broadcast. The best way, you only have to do this once. Go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down the page to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click that link, complete that 30-second registration form, and you're done. You don't have to ever do it again. What will happen going forward is every trading day, about an hour before this broadcast starts, you'll get an email. In that email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. Benefit of doing it that way is you have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there will be days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're just busy and can't join live, but want to catch up later. You can do both of those on our YouTube channel, which is very easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. You already know the YouTube part, so all you really have to remember is CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, we're actually simulcasting on our YouTube channel and on our platform. But we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,500 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. Now, if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more, and actually see how we've evolved over time. Now, of course, you're not going to watch all of them, but just pick some days at random. It doesn't matter which ones. Listen in a little bit, fast forward a little bit, listen in, fast forward. What you'll discover is the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity that's woven through each and every daily broadcast in our very vibrant trading community. youtube.com/CFRN. Let's open with our daily devotional and word of prayer, as we do every day. And then we'll get into the markets. And then about 12:45, 12:50, Michael will join us. He'll give us a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. Then we'll do some live trading on the TradingView platform for a half an hour. And then I'll wrap things up with our good word for the day. Now, the topic of our devotion this week is, what gives you hope? Today's scripture is Matthew 4, verses 23 through 25. And I'm sharing with you from the Message translation. From there he went all over Galilee. He used synagogues for meeting places and taught people the truth of God. God's kingdom was his theme. That beginning, right now, they were under God's government. A good government. He also healed people of their diseases and of the bad effects of their bad lives. Word got around the entire Roman province of Syria. People brought anybody with a sickness, whether mental, emotional, or physical. Jesus healed them, one and all. More and more people came, the momentum gathering. Besides those from Galilee, crowds came from the 10 towns across the lake, others up from Jerusalem and Judea, still others from across the Jordan. Again, that was Matthew 4, verses 23 through 25. from the Message translation. So again, the topic of our devotional is about hope, and specifically, what gives you hope. Let's talk about hope in the good King. Gospel means good news. And in the ancient world, it's always connected to the announcement of a new king. The gospel of God's kingdom, then, is the good news that God's promised king is here. His kingdom is arriving. Why does this matter, though? Isn't the gospel about Jesus dying for sins and then resurrecting? In the New Testament, notice how Jesus is preaching his gospel long before his crucifixion or resurrection. He's not focusing on that in his early ministry. Instead, he's saying that God's ancient promise to send a good king and set up his own kingdom on earth is happening. It's becoming real. The king, Jesus himself, has arrived, and that's good news. Notice how the kingdom of God begins with acts of healing and generous provision. He's founding an amazing new world on the basis of loving care for humanity, not on the basis of military power. Our world's normal kingdoms usually find strength in victorious violence. But God's divine human kingdom begins and expands only with the infinite power of love. That's especially good news today. If you're a human being experiencing the pain caused by average rulers and so-called authorities like our current administration, those listening to Jesus' gospel announcement soon learn that he himself is now the true ruler over all creation, the only real authority over any of us. We have hope in God himself as King Jesus, the incorruptible one who rules with love and uses his power not to coerce or destroy people, but to heal each of us and set us free. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, thank you for the healing and restoration that Jesus brought to those who were sick and suffering. We pray for that same healing touch in our own lives and in the lives of those around us. Lord, you went through Galilee, teaching in the synagogues, preaching the good news of the kingdom, and healing diseases and sicknesses among the people. Today, we pray for your healing power to be present in our midst. Bring healing to the sick, comfort to the suffering, and hope to the despairing. Lord, we lift up to you all those who are in need of physical, emotional, or even spiritual healing. You are, after all, the great physician, and your touch has the power to bring wholeness and restoration. We pray, God, for your healing touch to be upon them, bringing comfort, strength, and renewal. We also pray for your continued ministry of teaching and preaching in our own lives. Open our hearts to receive your word and empower us to proclaim the good news of your kingdom to everyone around us. Thank you, Lord, for your compassion and your faithfulness. May your healing power continue to flow in our lives and in our world, bringing glory to your name. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen and happy Thursday. And let me remind you, because it is Thursday, tonight is our members only workshop, 8 p.m. Eastern. Now, if you've been on the trial and you want to be in the members only workshop tonight, go to mytradingiq.com, get yourself signed up, become a passport holder. If you have questions, call 949-42-EMINI or send an email to support@cfrn.net. Starting here in the U.S. with the cash markets or the indices, the Dow's up 197 points. NASDAQ is up 51. S&P 500 is up 19. And the Russell 2000, our man in the street, is up over 17 points, almost 1%. Remember we talked about the bounce we anticipated at the 24% Fib retracement? It was a little delayed, but when we go to the charts, you'll see what it looks like. In the commodity basket, crude oil down 2 cents, trading 82.67 last. Gold up $10.80, trading 23.99.50 last. Silver up 2 cents, trading 28.42 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 117 points. The Shanghai rose 3 points. The Hang Seng gained 134 points, which is almost 1%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 29, the DAX up 67, the CAC up 41. So, we had a green day in Asia. It was a green day for the UK. And so far, it is definitely a green radio Thursday here in the US of A. With that, let's go take a look at Logic 247. That is our 24/7 around the clock E-mini alert service. It's not just E-minis though. It's also crude, gold, silver, euro, bonds. We are in week 298 since we launched Logic 247. And over those 298 weeks, we've issued over 16,500 individual handcrafted alerts. And we've averaged 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out on a weekly basis based on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. Now, Valerie did this recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. She will update it this afternoon as appropriate, and probably again this evening after the workshop. At the time Valerie did the recap this morning, Going back to Sunday night, when the markets open at 6 p.m. Eastern, we issued a total of 27 alerts. One never triggered, and we were still waiting on 4 at that time. That gave us 22 actionable alerts, of which so far 0 has been stopped out. But it's only Thursday. We still have one more day to go. Now, last week we had over 60 alerts, and the stop out percentage was like 17%. It's just been kind of a quiet week. Now, with the logic alerts, you get an entry price and an initial target that's designed to help you get your goal for the day. And then you'll have additional targets and a final trade to target. Those additional targets come from me looking left for you to spot potential obstacles to the trade. And if it's a long alert, the final trade to target will be the weekly zone above. And if it's a short alert, the final trade to target will be the weekly zone below. The purpose of the alerts is for you to become a self-sufficient trader. Our goal is to teach you to be able to look at a chart of any market, really any time frame, and instinctively know what the next high probability move is based upon how price flows. And it flows the same across all markets and all time frames. Futures, to stocks, to crypto, to Forex, to ETFs, from the daily chart to the 30-minute chart to the 5-minute chart, the tick chart, and the range chart. The purpose of those logic alerts is not just so you can trade them and not have to worry about learning how to trade. It is one of the steps in learning how to trade. Okay? What I'm showing you with the logic alerts is the windows of opportunity that I find by looking at a 30-minute chart. So when we go to the 30-minute charts, I want you to understand that all the logic alerts were based on me spotting a window of opportunity valid enough to make it an alert. And that's what you'll learn how to do when you become a passport holder in your one-on-one mentoring sessions. Long before we had Logic 247, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Now they're a little bit different in a few different ways. The logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock, and we have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. But the CTAs are published as a static report shortly after the Globex open each evening. Globex opens at 6 p.m. Eastern. We all know today's the Thursday session, but if you come from the world of equities, you may think the Thursday session started this morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern when Wall Street woke up. Not true. The Thursday session actually began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern when the Globex markets opened. It will remain the Thursday session for an hour after stocks stop trading on Wall Street at 4 p.m. Eastern. The Globex market will close at 5 p.m. Eastern. Then there will be an hour of silence. And then tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, the markets will reopen, and that will be the beginning of the Friday session. And it will be the Friday session right on up till 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And that will mark the end of the week. As I said earlier, some markets never sleep, but the futures do. They'll be closed Saturday and Sunday, but Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, the markets will open. And that's the beginning of the Monday session. Now, when this report comes out, the first thing you want to do is go to the 30-minute chart of whatever markets you actually trade. Make a note on your 30-minute chart where price is at the time the alert is posted. It's always going to be between these two numbers. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target. Draw a line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. Price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. Now, the BBC is the green line you'll see on my charts. BBC stands for bull, bear, cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and we anticipate higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and anticipate lower prices. Always relative to whatever time frame we have applied the BBC. For the purpose of the alerts, both logic and CTAs, it's always the 30-minute chart. Now, on the logic alerts, I look left for you, but with the CTAs, you're stepping up your game. You're learning to look left yourself to spot potential obstacles to the trade. Previous swing highs and swing lows, which can become current resistance or support. And you'll learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. This is so important because price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon, if price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone above. Price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone below. We've published the zones for our members every week since December 14th of 2009. We're closing in on 15 years. They come out every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. The only time that changes is when Monday is some type of federal holiday and the markets are closed. And then they come out Tuesday morning. But for the most part, they're out Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And once they're published, this is important, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They do not change in any way whatsoever. Beyond that, you just have to resist the urge to complicate it. It's really pretty simple. If you're new, in the beginning, it may seem a little complicated. It's like, oh my gosh, can I remember all this? There really isn't that much to remember. It seems like it because it's new. 2 weeks in, 3 weeks tops, you'll literally run out of questions to ask. Because our strategy, our methodology, and our indicators are so drop dead simple, you want to ask a lot of questions up front. When Michael is trading in the morning in the live training room, never think that your question is going to interrupt the flow. The purpose of the live training room is your questions. People ask me, how long will it take me to learn this strategy? Well, that depends on you, how many questions you ask, And yeah, showing up is a huge part. Show up, ask questions, and within a few weeks, you'll find yourself asking questions that you already know the answer to. And that's okay. You can ask it again. But guess what? You're going to get the exact same answer that you got the first time. And you're going to get the same answer that the guy who asked that question a week ago, a month ago, a year ago got. Just don't complicate it. That's all. All right. Daily chart. Why do we always look at a daily chart to start? Because you might be saying, gee, I don't even trade the S&P. That's okay. What I'm going to explain to you applies to all markets, okay? Now, who moves price? You? No. Me? Nah. Institutional traders who trade in great size, they actually move price. So even though you don't trade off a 1 hour or a daily chart, what I'm encouraging you to do is to spend just 2 minutes with the daily chart before you begin your trading session on the smaller time frames. It gives you an idea where major support and major resistance is. Really what you're doing is you're looking over the shoulder of the deep pockets, the people who actually move price. And once you see what they're doing, then all you have to do is what they're doing long enough to get your goal for the day. Now, we put in a new all-time historic high on April 1st. April Fool's Day. The irony is not lost on me. I've mentioned it a number of times. Now, this is the green line, the BBC Bull Bear Cross. Below it, we expect lower prices. Above it, we expect higher prices. Price rarely travels in a straight line. So you're going to have legs and retracements and legs and retracements and legs and retracements and legs and retracements. Now, you'll notice there's a common theme here. The pullback holds more often than it doesn't. We had been in an extended downtrend when we put in the low October 27th, and that's where these fibs are drawn, from the October 27th low to the April 1st high, right there. Okay, price closed above the VBC, and then we got confirmation the following day. This candle opened and closed above the VBC. So that tells us to get ready for a move to the upside, which we got, with pullbacks along the way. But it wasn't until April 4th that we actually closed below the BBC. That's a long stretch. If you go back and listen to previous broadcasts, I kept talking about this thing's getting long in the tooth. It's going to give it up at some point, and it finally did. But we didn't make a clean break the way we did back here. We closed below, then we closed above, above, and back below, then right at the BBC. Then we finally got a candle that opened and closed below the BBC. We were looking for a bounce at this 50% fib extension, which is 50.85, and we did bounce up to 51.20. So not a huge bounce, but a bounce. What was this bounce? 51.23. So that's a little more. And then the next major support is the 24% fib retracement. This whole run up we never got a 24% fib retracement until yesterday. Now, we talked all last week that once we hit the 24, we should get a pretty good bounce. We did bounce back up to that 50% fib extension. Remember, it was support coming down. Now it's become resistance. Okay. We are having an inside day. What does that mean? It means today's high has not taken out yesterday's high. It also means that today's low has not taken out yesterday's low. So we have a very small candle. Okay. We're off the high of the session and we're slightly off the low of the session. We're actually pretty well off the low of the session. In fact, we're closer at this point to the high of the session. So this candle is not telling us a lot, but buyers are standing in the gap and buying. Where you have to become concerned is when buyers just kind of throw in the towel and step back waiting for a better price. Personally, I think that better price is down here at the 50% fib retracement, but we'll have to see. Now, where's major resistance or major support? First, the low of today and the low of yesterday. Major resistance is at the high of the day, which is at that 50% fib extension, and then the high of yesterday. Okay? And above that, we've got red and falling, which is potential resistance. So we're just kind of taking a breather today, it looks like. Now, whether you trade futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs, if you'll learn to read the daily chart before you get started, get an idea where major support is, where major resistance is, and see what the institutional traders are up to. And honestly, today they're not up to much. Yesterday's volume was 1.8 million. Previous day was over 2 million. Previous day was over 2 million. Today, we haven't broke a million yet. Now, I know it's early in the session, but at this point, we should be over a million, but we're not. So this is a market looking for some direction. Obviously, we've got some buyers in there hitting the offer because we got that green body. But we'll see how that changes over the course of the broadcast. Michael should be here in a few minutes. He'll give us a recap of what happened in the live training room. And then we'll go live on the TradingView platform, do some live trading for 30 minutes, and then I'll wrap everything up. So here's where we opened last night. Price was trapped with resistance overhead, and blue and climbing, or support below. Price climbed the step line and actually got above the BBC. We had a retracement to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Made an attempt to go higher, but with no obvious reason for rejection. Guess what? Got rejected. So we dropped below the BBC. Now the low here, you can see, lines up with this low right here. Okay. When you see price get above the 30-minute chart, 30-minute BBC, then below, then above, then below, yeah, not the greatest opportunity for trading. Then on this candle, we actually came down and we hit the short target. It's low from yesterday. Okay, Once the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance, which it found at the BBC. And that resistance brought us back to here. Then we had a red candle that reversed, became a green candle, got us above the BBC, and we ran right to the weekly zone. We didn't make it to the long target, but there was plenty of room. This candle here opened at 50.70, well, I'll call it 50.73, and dropped to 50.64. That's 9 points. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. Over here, this candle opened at 50.74 and ran up to 50.92. 18 points. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. Now, these zones are the zones that were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. When price drops to a zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. Drop to the zone, we caught a bounce, but we had red and falling overhead, so that put pressure on to the downside. Now, if you look left on your chart, you'll find out why the market found support here. It's not a secret, it's a matter of being able to read the chart. And so once we get back below the BBC here and we've hit the short target, we then don't make it to the long target, but we do make it to the weekly trading zone. Now we only have one more zone below, down at 49.80/81. Okay. Now, we don't expect to hit the highest zone or expect to hit the lowest zone on any given week. What we expect is that price at the end of the week, when the week closes, we expect that price will not be above the highest zone or below the lowest zone. And we believe that during the week, it will provide us with areas of support and resistance. Now think about it. These zones were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Here it is, Thursday. The week's almost over, and they're still doing the job. Price is getting below the BBC, so look for potential support here, and then here, and then here. Okay? And it's coming down at a pretty good clip. See what it looks like again on the daily. Yep, see that green body we had? That thing just about vanished. So remember, today's low and yesterday's. Once we break yesterday's low, that should take us down to the 38% fib extension. Then below that is the 24% fib extension, but more importantly, the 38% fib retracement. On the Dow, we opened right at the weekly trading zone. Got above the BBC, made a run to the upside. Okay. This was sort of an erratic candle, but you'll notice that these highs line right up with that high. Okay. That's kind of unusual. I mean, this was a green candle all the way up, but before the 30-minute period was over, the thing had totally collapsed on itself and found support where? At the zone. Like it did here, like it did here, and like it did here. And now we're coming down to the zone where we found support earlier today, 37,990/95. Okay, Michael is here. He's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room. And then we'll do some live trading on the TradingView platform. And then when we're done with that, I'll come back and I'll finish this recap and wrap it up with our good word for the day. Looks good, Michael.
Good. All right, we will jump right into it. I want to bring up the YouTube thing over here on the side so I can be watching that too. All right. Yeah, let me close Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, the 18th day of April, 2024. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you'd like to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. This is how you take a free trial. There is no credit card required for the trial. Once you click on that purple button, you will be sent to this registration page right here. Right on this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down here at the bottom, if you have an NinjaTrader, give us your machine ID. If you have a trading view, give us your login ID. Either one of those things would be great. Give that to us, and we'll be able to enable the indicators for you and get them indicating while you take the trial. You want to get that done before you actually start the trial. All right. So make sure you give us that information when you actually sign up for the trial. Now, the spreadsheet. We had a pretty good day today. We're pretty close to $1,000 a contract, $5 off. But if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. On the NQ, we're up 104 ticks, and on the combination of the Russell and YM, we're at exactly 100 ticks. We're up 63 on the Russell and 37 on the YM. On the ES, we managed to get back to -2. We were at -10, and we got back to -2 on that. That puts us at a total of $9.95 per contract on the morning session. Today it took 12 minutes and 4 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $3,360, and we took a total of 18 trades this morning. So on a month now, we're up $6,545, averaging $467 per contract per morning session. And on the year, we're up $29,535 over 74 business days, averaging $399 per contract per morning session. So if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day, and following the 24/20 blueprint, you were to add 1 contract per month for every $2,000 that you make. It really works out. If you stop trading with a $100 per day goal, it really works out to 1 contract per month you get to add. So I started this whole plan. It's 24/20 blueprint, and I started it at the beginning of January last year, starting out with 1 contract and adding 1 per month. All right. So at the end of the year last year, we're at 12 contracts, and we started this year with 13 in January. All right, and then 14 in February, and then 15 in March, and now we're at 16 in April. So this number here has to be 32,000 by the end of the month for me to be able to add another contract on. I really didn't have any concern about it not being 32,000, but you can see we're pretty close to it now, and we still have, and we'll probably hit 32,000 tomorrow. Depends how things go, but we'll probably hit it tomorrow or Monday. But we still have 8 business days left. Right? We've only gone 14 business days. Sorry, 14 business days are already at 30, so it's not going to be an issue. We should probably be over 40 by the end of the month. And that's quitting when I get the goal for the day. This year, because we started with 1 contract, last year we added 1 per month. We're now at 16 contracts. Now, if you started the 24/20 blueprint this year with 1 contract, so far this year you'd be up to 4 contracts. And working the same 29 hours, getting the goal for the day, you would have averaged $835 per hour so far this year. Whereas with starting with 13 contracts, I'm at $5,154 per hour. Now, I know that's a big discrepancy between those, and this one will catch up. One thing to consider, though, is this $835 per hour number here would be more, because this number would be less if we were trading, if we were stopping when we get the goal for the day, trading fewer contracts. All right. See the number of hours, number of minutes it takes me to get the goal for the day per month. When I have multiple contracts, I don't have a lot, like over 10 contracts on, is a lot more than it was last year when I started out with 1 contract. A lot more. So you got to take that into consideration. This number would be a lot bigger. This number would be a lot bigger. It'd be like $1,000 a contract, something like that. Anyway, let's get into the trades. All right, let's just get into the trades. This is the YM, and we did have some nice trades on the YM today. We had good market movement all day on all the exchange. I mean, all the markets today. I have a feeling this is going to take a while, so I'll do it this way. All right. So here we are at the very beginning, and all these blue arrows right here I missed, and I didn't take a trade on the YM until right here. This is my first trade on the YM, and I believe on that one I picked up 20 ticks. 20 ticks on the first YM trade right there. Then I stopped out, and my stop out was actually bigger than a 10 tick stop. And I had a 13 tick stop right there, and I went down to 7. For some reason, my strategy didn't work out right, and my stop ended up bigger. Then we had a break even trade right there, and then we had a nice 30 tick trade right there. We went to 37. And that was all that we did on the YM this morning. We get into the lesson plan here, and we had a lesson plan today. I thought, oops, nope, I did another one. Looks like I had another one right in here that I know. I'm not sure that should be a blue one. I'm not sure it should be there. Yeah, it's in a no trade zone. I'm not exactly sure what that's doing there, but I don't show another trade on the YM. I only have 3 trades, it says. But there were some other ones in here. Blue arrows there, a blue arrow there. And then we get into the break. During the break, not a lot going on. Blue arrow there, green arrow there, and a green arrow there. We ended with plus 37 ticks on the YM this morning. Okay, and this one is the Russell. Now on the Russell, let's see. Scroll all the way back to the beginning here on the Russell. Here we are at the beginning on the Russell. There was a blue arrow right in here that I didn't get, blue/green arrow. I did get this one on the Russell. My first trade on the Russell was plus 12. This was actually no, there was another one before that. So we're in the pre-market right here. Here it was right here. This was our first trade on the Russell. I should have let that go. Would have given us the goal for the day, but I didn't. And I trailed my stop, and I got out with plus 12 ticks on that first trade. Then it took me a little while to get more. We went from 12. Our next trade was a plus 4 right here, put us to 16. And then our next trade after that was, whatever would that be, 17 ticks it looks like. We had a break even there, and then we had like a 17 tick trade right here, something like that. We went from, you know what I think it was? We went from 12 to 18. So we had a 6 tick trade, and then we went from 18 to 33. We had a 15 tick trade. Then the next one that we had was right here. We had a 30 tick trade right there. Went from 33 to 63. And that was it. We had another nice trade right there. And as far as blue arrows go, there was another blue arrow there, and that was it. So if you learn how to do one thing, that's what I was saying this morning, if you learn how to do just one thing, learn how to do the blue arrow trades. Okay. Let's scroll all the way back here. All the way back. All right, so on the ES, this was our first trade right here, and we stopped out minus 10 ticks. And then we got some of it back right here. We got 8 ticks back right here. Put us at minus 2. And I think that's all we did with the ES. Lots of lines in here and stuff, but that was from the lesson plan. I thought we had a good lesson plan today with the ES. Actually, these lines right here were from the lesson plan today. Those must have been yesterday. During the break here, we had a nice blue arrow there and a nice blue arrow there, both of which gave you good profit. And since then, well, we got a green arrow triggering right now. The green arrow is short there on the ES triggering right now. And I messed things up during the last session, so I don't have any of my DOMs showing right now, so I'm bringing all my DOMs back up. And there. Okay, they're all back up now. So that was what we did with the ES. We ended up with minus 2 on the ES. And now the NQ. Get on that one. Hold it. Hold it. Going to break even on the ES trade, by the way. I'm actually just going to lock in 2 ticks on that. It should get down to right here. Those of you guys that read the lesson plan today, you understand why, right? Should get down to 50, 60. 50, 60. That'd be 9 ticks if it gets there. Or 11 ticks if it gets there. 11 ticks if it gets there. That's where it should be going to. Prior swing low is right here, 50, 60. And look, it lines right up with the numbers. So I'm going to slide this off to the side for right now. I'm probably going to end up with a plus 2 on that. But let's get into the NQ. Okay. On the NQ, it is going down further, so I'm actually going to bump in 2 more ticks on that. And we're probably going to end up with a +4 on that, and that's okay with me. No, we're going to end up with more than that. We're going to end up with maybe a +5. This number right here, the 5060 number, it's trying to get to that. That is the prior swing low. Okay, so that's what it's trying to get down to, and it just nailed it. So those are guys that were in there in the morning session. That was straight out of the morning session lesson plan today. Okay, those are guys that were in there during the morning session. You guys should understand what that's all about, right? All right, so the NQ. Now let me hit the alt button on this and go back, because this is going to take forever. The NQ has so many bars on it. We're almost there. And there we go. That looks like the beginning of it on the NQ. All right, so our first trade here on the NQ was a break even. Then the next trade we took was right here. We got 30 ticks profit on that one. Then the next trade we took was right here. We got another 30 ticks profit on that one. And then the next trade we took was right here. And we only got 4 ticks profit on that one. The next trade we took was a break even right there, another break even right there, and this one right here. Somehow we got another 30 ticks profit on that one. I think it was right here. I got 36 profit on that one, put me up to 94. And then I stopped out. This stop out here was, I shouldn't have had minus 20 on that. I should have had a break even, but I got minus 20, put me down to 74. And then toward the end of the session, I think was my next trade. There were some more blue arrows in here, but I was during the training and the lesson plan, so I didn't do those. I had a break even right there, and I missed that. This one was my last one. I got 36 profit on that, and that put us at 104. I don't think I took another trade, but there were some really nice ones right here. That was an awesome trade right there. Remember, you only have to learn. You only have to get your goal for the day, all right? So you just have to learn one thing, the one thing that is going to get your goal for the day consistently. Whether it's a black arrow, a green arrow, whatever it is you want to learn how to do, you just got to learn the one thing. Okay. Excuse me, let me bring this up and look in here. There are no questions in there, and I'm looking in YouTube. It doesn't look like we have any questions going on in YouTube either. All right. So I guess it's 101, so I'll jump into the live training and all that stuff now. But before I do, let me just show you this. If you have not taken a free trial with us and want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. That is a sign up for the free trial. There's no credit card required for the trial. That is going to bring you to this registration page. Just fill out this form, first name, last name, email, phone number. Down here at the bottom, if you're using TradingView, give us your login ID. If you're using Ninja, give us your machine ID. Again, that's mytradingiq.com. Okay, purple button. Now, the results so far today, we ended up the morning session with a plus 104 on the NQ, and a combination of the Russell and the YM was 100 ticks exactly, or -2 on the ES. Put us at $9.95 with one contract on the morning session. Today took 12 minutes and 4 trades to get to $3,360, which took a total of 18 trades. So on the month now, we're $6,545 over 14 business days, averaging $467 per contract per morning session. On the year now, $29,535 over 74 business days, averaging $399 per contract per morning session. Yeah. So if you're following the 24/20 blueprint and you quit trading when you get the goal for the day, so far this year we're averaging, we've worked 29.05 hours getting goal for the day, and we're averaging $5,154 per hour. Right? That's starting out with 13 contracts and adding 1 per month. If you started with 1 contract this year and added 1 per month, you're now averaging $835 per hour. Right? The same 29.05 hours. All right, now we can get into the trading. We really don't have anything to trade right here on the YM right now. The outer bands are completely flat. Same thing here on the Russell. We're in a no trade zone here and here, so we really don't have anything there either. What I do want to look at, though, I want to come over here and look at the Bitcoin stuff, because Bitcoin, the halving is going to happen here pretty soon, and that is supposed to be good. The Bitcoin price So it's dropping down here lower than what I wanted to see it drop. You know, I had drawn in this box right here and I said, we don't want to see you get down below this level, and it's right at that level right now. It's right at that level where right now this rounding top that you see happening right here, if it drops down anymore, we're going to have lower lows and lower highs. Lower lows and lower highs. The last time it just about did that right here. It did the same thing. It just about did it. I'm still thinking, I don't think it's going to drop all the way back down into the 20s again. I don't want it to drop down into the 40s again, but I'm thinking it's going to be up to 80,000, 80,300, probably by the end of the summer, I would bet. We'll see. We'll see. But that's Bitcoin. We don't have anything going with these four markets right here. So anybody that's watching, if you want to see any other symbols, if you want to see a stock or anything like that, just let me know. This is the NQ. This is the NQ on a 15 range. Now, I created this thing here with the TV trades to go with the TV trades in here. You can put a bias on here. You see how it's gone long, short, right in a row a couple of times right there. That's what this bias level is for. If you throw the bias level on there, it'll eliminate some of that stuff because it's saying you're only going short if you're below the 233. Right, and you can make this whatever you want it to be. It can be a 233, it can be 1,000, it can be a 10. But you're saying you're only going short if you're below it, and you're only going long if you're above it. That is to filter out some of those things that go back and forth like that. That is pretty much what this was created for. Okay, and if you hover over the thing right there like that, it gives you an explanation. Okay, so again, this is TV trades. It's Target View Trades. Go to targetviewtrades.com. I want to take a look at that. If you happen to sign on with us in your passport, then you'll get access to this for free for a little while. If you happen to sign on with us as a passport. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so this is what the NQ looked like today. Now, if we put the longs back on here, or if we take the bias off, you'll see that it gave some really good long trades too. Some good ones in there. I guess we didn't have a lot of good long ones today on the NQ, but most of the trades that it gave that were longs were pretty good. You see the stop in here is identified in points. All right, it's not identified in ticks like we do it in the morning session where we have 20 ticks. These are points. So 20.75 points is 4 ticks to a point. So it's 4 times 6.75. So it's just about 28 ticks, 27 ticks is what that stop would be right there. Okay, that's with the NQ. Now, if you're looking at other things, like let's just look at XO, XOM, ExxonMobil. Now, I'm looking at this because we have one of our partners trades a lot of Exxon. And he's only interested in the long trades on the Exxon, so you can get rid of the shorts, right, and just show the long trades. And he actually does it on a 16 range. And yeah, I guess he took one trade this morning in here and he profit on that. And he does it on the 16 range. That's a 15. So I guess I don't have a 16 range ready to go. But anyway, we traded this up to the first target this morning, is what he said. And that is pretty good. You can do this with anything though. If you guys have any other symbols you want to look at, we can look at any other symbol. Like NVDA. Now this, because it's an $800 stock, you're probably not going to want to look at it on a 16 range. Probably look at that because the 16 range means a 16 cent. But if you look at it on a dollar, 100 range, then each bar is $1. Okay, you can see it gives some pretty good indications in here. I don't think, yeah, I shut the shorts off. So if you put the shorts back on, you can see it probably gave some decent shorts in here too. Now again, with equities, you really usually just looking to buy. You're not looking to sell the equities. You just sell them short anyway. But you can see in here it gave several indications on the long side, where it gained a buck or two at a time. Just pretty basic, simple things. It gives you a long trade right here. It says to go long. And, if you had 100 contracts, 100 contracts, $8,500, but 100 contracts could wait a couple $100. And what is that? About 10 minutes. Right there, 11:09 to 11:11. 10 minutes. If you let it run all the way up to 11:17 for 8 minutes, 8:54 up to 8:58. So if you had 100 contracts, 100 shares, then that's $400 in a couple of minutes right there. Pretty easy money. You're only risking on this right here. This is on a 100 range. Well, I can tell you how much your risk would have been if you went here. If you went long right here at 53.95 is what the actual entry would have been. But if you went long right there, the stop would have been down here at 52.18. So you would have had just about a $200 stop. Okay, or a $2 stop. This last one right here was a $1.79 stop. It's from right here down to here is where the stop would be, right? The stop is 56.56, be right here, right there at the bottom of that bar. And that one there gave you 58.40 up to 61.89. So it gave you about $300 gain right there. And that was in 12:17 to 12:26 in 10 minutes. Not too bad. And I mean, it does it again and again and again. So it's available. It's there. This is NVIDIA. If you want to trade NVIDIA stock, the opportunity is there. Now to short this stuff, you got to have, you have to have, although you need to short a stock, you'd have like a minimum $25,000 account and all that kind of stuff. But let's see. Okay, so we do have stuff going on with the futures. So let's jump back into the futures for a minute. All right. Again, that other stuff was Target View Trades, targetviewtrades.com. If you're interested in that, go take a look. If you become a passport holder in here, we'll give you some access to that for a little while. Okay, for free. We're looking for pullbacks on all four of these markets right here, right now. Okay, the NQ is already in the overbought here. It's already in a downtrend, so we're just going to look to short the NQ on the down close. If I can find my DOM, we're going to look to short the NQ on the down close in here. Okay, we need that down close. We still need the down close. Still need it now. It's close. There it is, right there. All right, so I just shorted it and throw my stop at break even, and I'm going to lock in 12 ticks. So I'm going to get 12 or 30 on this. It should give me all 30. It should get down below this swing low right here at 82.75, but it gave me 12 instead. While I was doing that, the YM also gave a short right here. It's too late to get into. The ES and the Russell have not given anything yet. Okay. Now, I don't see any questions coming in, but if you guys have any questions, or you want to see any other symbols, let me know. What we anticipate, whenever you get a green arrow or a blue arrow, what you anticipate is that it's going to continue the trend and put in a lower swing. Right, continue the trend and put in a lower swing. It hasn't done over here on the YM yet. It's just barely doing it here. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this little dashed black line right there. Let's see if I can make that bigger. I don't know where that's from. That'd be from here. Symbol. Status line. Was it purple? Could be this one right here. Yeah, that's what it is. All right. It is this one. It's not purple. All right, but I can make it bigger. All right. What that shows you is the prior swing low, the prior swing high and low. Okay, that's the information that you get from that one line right there. And so that's good information. When you get into a trade, price should, like right now on the NQ, if I get a short right here, price should get down to that level right there. It should go down to that level and probably through that level right now. All right, so there's the short on the NQ again, and here it is. It stops going to break even again, and I'm going to lock in 4. And it should go down through this level here at 80.25. Right, 80.25 is right here, right here. right there. So it should go through that right now. And there it is. It just did. So if I'd left it at 30 ticks, it would just give me 30 ticks. I think it gives me 26, but it's as simple as that, right? Again and again and again and again, the same stuff. There's a trade over here right now on the a trade over here on the YM. This is off the ribbon. Now you didn't get an arrow on this because it didn't come out of the overbought, but it is a shorting opportunity right there. You didn't get an arrow because it didn't come out of the overbought, but it is a valid short. So we want to see that drop down here and give us a lower swing, or pull back up and give us an arrow. To give us an arrow, it's going to have to get into the overbought so it can come out of the overbought and trigger the arrow. The NQ is about to give us another one here now. Those of you guys that have been watching in the last couple of days in the room in the morning, one thing to note right here is that this leg length is pretty small compared to the last leg length. All right, so the leg lengths down are getting shorter and the leg lengths up are getting bigger. So if you remember what all that means, you see this is a potential trend change, at least temporarily. The Russell and the ES are both bouncing off the weekly trading zone. I'm not the weekly trading, they're both bouncing off the ribbon right there. So they're both about to trigger a trade. Right, and they both did just trigger blue arrow trades. And here's the ES one. I'm going to throw the stop to break even on that. That just hit 4 ticks in profit. And the Russell one hit 4 ticks in profit too. I'm trying to bring it over. I'm actually going to throw the stop at break even and then bring it over. Hang on. Hang on. There. Okay. All right. Well, it just took me out of break even on the Russell. I'm sorry. I did short the Russell too. It just took me out of break even. I didn't bring it over in time for you to see. If I were still in it, I'd be locking in profit. So the ES, now the ES is going to this number right there. Those of you guys that are in the morning session, you see that, you see why. It wants to go through the swing low right here at 54, which it's doing right now. It wants to go through that swing low and down to 53. 53 is right there, right? So those of you guys that were there this morning, you should be able to see this and understand all the stuff that I'm telling you right now. Okay, so I'm flat with 6 ticks on that. Michael, in the time it takes you to do the math, the trade is over. What is my trick? Do the math ahead of time. I'm doing it in my head, and I can do it in my head faster than I can say it, Michael. And so when I see the bar is setting up on the NQ, I see the bar starting to set up, I do the math in my head, and then I throw the order on. And my order's not always exactly right, but it's usually pretty close. And I'm always going to get slippage, so I never know where I'm going to get filled. But when I see a trade like this one, when this was developing right here, when this was happening, and I knew a down close on that was going to be the trigger, then I do the math really quick and I throw the order on near where it's going to be, and then I just get ready for it. And when it's coming, I just make the quick adjustment to it. You know, all of these here are just tanked. So we had great entries on every one of these. Now going back to the leg lengths from the lesson plan. All right. Go back to the leg lengths from the lesson plan. We're extending the leg lengths on all of these right now. That's great. So we should have a really good movement here and lots of opportunity to trade. So right now, Michael, as this pulls back, this is not going to be a trade. It's going to hit the ribbon or it's going to hit into the overbought, one or the other. But it is back far enough so that a black arrow right here would be a good one. If we got an up close on this and you gave a black arrow on the next one, that'd be an okay black arrow to take. I think right here you'd be selling 925. So my order's waiting there at 925 right now. Okay, and it just filled me and it just slipped me. And here it is. That's how I do it. That's how I do it, Michael. And I just got 30 ticks profit on that one. I didn't get filled at 925 though. Let me tell you where I got filled. I will tell you exactly where I got filled on that one. Hold on. Hang on, I gotta sort them the right way. My average fill on that was 858. Right, 68.58 was my average fill on that. 68.58. So I was going for 925, and it slipped me the majority of it. And I'll show you. ticks is what it looks like on my side. This is what I sold, and it averaged it out to 68.58. And this is where I bought, and it averaged out to 61.52. Okay. So it wasn't, I don't know. You got to figure that out, but it should have been 30 ticks or right around 30 ticks, plus or minus a little bit. Is how that worked out in that trade. But I had my sell stop in the right place on that one when I was getting ready for it. And it slipped me. And that's how it does it a lot of the time with me. Right? The ES is a little easier to do, but with this it's just 4 points. With this, it's 2 points. Like right now on the ES, the highs here at 250, it'd be selling 050. 050. So right now I have a sell stop limit on right there at 050. So I'm looking for the down close. It should close right here at 75 and it should fill me here at 50, somewhere around there. Okay, it only slipped me 1 tick. That's not too bad. So I was able to put that one way ahead of time. Now, those numbers that I looked at a little while ago, a few minutes ago, those numbers are coming into play again right now. Now we did get 1 tick of slip on this, so that's gonna go there. Those are coming into play again. Now it didn't go 4 ticks into profit yet for me, right? It's gonna go down 1 more to get to 4 ticks in profit, and then I hit the break even button. But it should get down to right here, right there. Right. So there's 4 ticks in profit. I'm gonna hit break even on that. And now I think it's gonna go through that. I'm going even further down. I think it's gonna go through that. I'm gonna lock in just 2 ticks on this. See that number right there? And you see they're starting to develop even more down here as it goes down. So I'm gonna keep pushing that down. The low of the day is right here. I should get down to the low of the day, is what I'm thinking. Look at all those numbers down there. It's going to go through the low of the day. I'm going to throw that all the way down there and just let it run. So we have 2 ticks here locked in. And we're going to get 2 or whatever that was going to be way down there. We ended up with just the 2 though. Right. But when the markets are like this and they have great volatility and just the leg lengths are really nice like that, I love trading on days like this. All right, so you're able to get that one with me, right? And take some profit on it, probably more than 2 ticks, hopefully, maybe 8 ticks. The outer bands are flat right here. You're in a no trade zone, so you don't have to do anything with the NQ. Now, one of the things I went over in the room this morning was kind of keeping your head about where the markets are, what the markets are doing in the bigger picture stuff. Okay. Like right now, down, up, down, up, down, up, down is what it should be doing, right? So all these legs up right here that are giving these trades up right there and right here and right there. The overall trend is clearly down, right? So the trades on the downside are the ones you should be looking for the big targets on, right? They're the ones you should be looking for the big targets on. I mean, I think today we had a good lesson in how to manage the trades and how to get the most out of the trades. I think today was a pretty good lesson plan. I'll actually convert today's. I think it was a good one. But, you know, if the overall trend is down, then let the shorts run more than you let the longs run. The longs try to stop close. The shorts give a little leeway, let it run a little bit more, right? That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if the ES got down there yet. It didn't get down there yet, but when we have those 2 ticks in here, it's going to get down to this level right here. It's going to go through that level. It's going to go through 45.50. If you look at the DOM, go back to the stuff that we were doing this morning and look at the DOM right here, 45. It's going down to that number. Okay. I'll draw it in for you again, but that's where it's going. It may take a little bit to get down there, but it's going down there. All right. So our indicators, you know, during the lesson plan during the week, those guys who don't know, let's go to YouTube. Those of you guys who don't know, yeah, I'm scrolling to see what's going on. Yeah, for those guys who don't know, the lesson plan during the week, you know, we have a lesson plan from day 1 through 4, and then day 5, which is tomorrow. I just trade using the stuff that I taught everybody days 1 through 4, and then you can ask questions, and I'll just go through the questions with you. See, it's hitting all those numbers that I just said. The ES probably is too. The ES is, well, it didn't hit 45 yet, but it's about to. It's going to go through 45 and hit 44 also. But we go over the basic stuff on the first day, and then we get into how the basic stuff applies to the indicators on the second, third, and fourth day. But there are things that I go over in the lesson plan that are things that you can carry with you throughout your trading, even if you don't actually join with us. The things we just went all the way through 44 on ES. And it's going to go down to 41. Now 40 is what it's going to go down to right now, right? It might pull back. Nope, it's still looking pretty bearish. It should go straight down to 40 from here. That is just me reading to you out of the DOM, and that was part of today's lesson plan, was how to read the DOM, right? So there are some things that I go over in the lesson plan during the week that, if you take the trial, I'll go over these things in a lot of detail, and it's stuff that you get to take with you forever, even if you don't continue with us. So, it's worth taking the trial. You might learn something. I mean, if you already know it all, you already know it all. But if you don't, you might pick something up. Who knows? It's worth taking the trial. The trial is free. And let me show you again how to do that, right? Let me show you again how to do that. The ES the ES has got a short right here anyway. The Russell doesn't really have one because the black line's no longer in the red. But the ES does. But let me show you how to take the trial, okay? If you have not taken a free trial with us, then go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. There's no credit card required for the trial. When you click on that purple button, you'll be sent to this confirmation, this page right here, where all you ask for is your name, email, phone number. If you have NinjaTrader, give us your machine ID. If you have TradingView, give us your login ID so we can enable the indicator set for you. All right. We want to enable that indicator set for you at the beginning of your trial, not at the end, at the beginning. Okay. All right. Now, back in here. And my hand fell asleep. All right. So a down close on this, if it pulls it out of the overbought, give us a green arrow. The numbers that it's trying to get down to are down here right now on the ES. Now we haven't had a deep pullback in a little while, so it might be time for a little bit of a deeper pullback where everything gets up above the BBC. But who knows? Just trade what's in front of you. Now it didn't pull it out of the overbought, so you didn't get an arrow. All right. It's not a valid trade because it didn't come out of the overbought. Okay, this is not a trade over here on the NQ. I know we have a blue arrow, but the outer band's completely flat. Okay. So I wonder what the slope is right there. Did I ever build anything in here to give us a slope? I didn't. I'm gonna have to do something, start compiling some data so I can fix that stuff where it's given arrows when the outer bands are completely flat like that. See, like over here where it's completely flat. It should just be in a no trade zone like that. All right. This blue arrow right here on the ES is a valid trade, and where should that go? All the way down here. All the way down here. 5041, I think, is where the number was. You can't see it right now, but that's where that should go. Okay. It's 1:28, so we only have a minute and a half left in here. 1.5 minutes. Today's the 18th. I haven't looked at the emails today. I should probably look at those. Does anybody have any questions at this juncture? This is the pullback right here. Where I said everything should get above the BBC. It's happening right now. So let's go and look at what Dwayne was looking at earlier. And one of the things that I was looking at earlier on the 30-minute NQ, this 30-minute is okay, on the 30-minute NQ, was this bar right here. I was saying earlier, if this bar would have closed below the MA1, this was a 1030 bar, and I was talking during the lesson plan. If this would have closed below the MA1, I was expecting we'd have a full push all the way down to here by the end of the session. Now that one closed up, and that surprised me that it closed up, but this one closed down right here at the ribbon, right at the BBC and at the ribbon. And from there, it just completely failed. So now we're at the 100% mark right here. All right, this is the low of the day that it just hit. It just put in a new low of the day. The weekly trading zone down below is right here. But if you look at this bigger picture stuff, this was from yesterday's lesson plan. I was showing today how it applies to the larger time frame as well as the smaller time frame. This leg length right here. This pullback up here, proportionally, here, was almost a 50% retracement of that leg down. All right, and then it started to fail. This is where it should fail down to, right down to here. All right, 17,422. That could be by the end of the day. That's what it should do. Don S, are you in here? Usually like when I look at the big picture stuff like this. See, right now, it wouldn't surprise me if it pulls back up and bounces off the ribbon, but this is what it should do. This is the leg length that it should complete. This one right here. Okay. We talked about that a little bit this morning. So right now, it wouldn't surprise me if it pulls back up to the BBC. This is the NQ that we're talking about. Let me bring that back up. I'll show you the BBC currently is at, well, the MA1 will go there first. That'll be the first area resistance at 642. 642. So that's just right up here. You know, it's not a huge deal for it to get up that high and then fail again all the way down. I would say trade what's in front of you, and on the long side, don't expect much out of the trade. You know, the prior swing high would be plenty. Trail your stops pretty close on the long side. When it starts to go short again, then you can let things run, is what I would think. That's how I would trade it. All right, well, I have run over, and I will now show you one more time how to take the free trial. You go here to mytradingiq.com, right here, sign up for your free training, click on the purple button. That's going to bring you to this registration page. Click on this registration page. Make sure you give us your machine ID or your login ID, one or the other. Give us that information. And if you are in here and you're on the trial, there's a partners meeting tonight at 8 p.m. There's a special offer email that was sent out to you if you want to take advantage of that before the partners meeting tonight. You get into the meeting with us tonight. Anybody else that is a partner, if you email us questions ahead of time, we can get to them first in the partners meeting tonight. Right? Thank you all for coming and watching this, and I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, its largest city park. Dwayne, if you are
ready. Yes, I am.
Thanks.
Okie doke. Recap of the morning session.
Today, it took 12 minutes and 4 trades to get to, hold it, I have the number for you, to get to $3,360.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll pick up where we left off. We already covered the Dow. Already covered the ES. Let's go back and look at the ES daily for a minute. Yep. See, yesterday's low. Remember, we still have an inside day. Yesterday's low was 50.47. Today's low. Oh, optical illusion. Low 50.41. Low 50.47. That is an optical illusion. So it's no longer an inside day because today's low is 50.41 and yesterday's low is 50.47. Okay, so we've taken out yesterday's low. So the next support area would be the low of these two candles right here, which are resting right on top of the 38% fib extension. Push through the 38% fib extension. Then there's support at the low of February 13th. And then the low of January 31st, which is the 24% fib extension. But just below it, 38% fib retracement support. Where I'm ultimately looking for support is here. And I'm not saying it can't go lower, but I think at this point we should get a decent bounce, despite whatever's going on in the fundamental world. But anyway, on the ES, we ran up to the zone, found resistance, just like we did yesterday. Now, prior to it being resistance, it was support. When price drops to a zone, we expect support. Price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance, like it did yesterday, and like it did today. These are the zones published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. The lowest zone this week for the ES is at 49.80/81. Now, the zones are not a prediction of where price is going to end for the week. It's going to hit the highest zone or it's going to hit the lowest zone. All the zones are areas where you would expect to find support and resistance. Okay. However, what we do not expect is for price to close below the lowest zone or above the highest zone. And we're closing in on 15 years of publishing the weekly trading zones. And there have been a handful of weeks where price did, in one or more markets, actually close above the highest zone or below the lowest zone. But again, it's only been a handful or two of weeks over almost 15 years now. Okay, so there's the ES. On the Dow, we've hit the long target and we've hit the short target. Okay. First, we opened last night at the zone, put in a leg and a retracement. The zone held as support. Got us back above the BBC. We got a leg, a retracement, and then bang. Now, today's Thursday. Here's Wednesday. Here's Tuesday. The vertical lines separate the days. Go all the way back to Tuesday. You can see where this high came from. We spiked it a little bit, but if we look back a little further, I bet you we'll find something right in that area. But I want you to go discover it for yourself. Okay? It's called learning, right? When you learn something, then you own that knowledge. Just hearing somebody say it, nodding your head and going, oh, okay. Well, that's one thing. To actually roll up your sleeves, do the work, do the research, then suddenly you realize, oh, wow, this is true. This is powerful. Look at this low from Tuesday and Wednesday's low. Are they identical? Looks like it to me. All right, Russell. Here's where we open, pulled up to the BBC. Pull back holes more often than not. Just like here. Now, here you had consolidation and the BBC and the zone. So resistance times 2. So we had support at the zone, resistance at the zone. Zones are an area, just like fibs. They print a specific price point, both of them do, on your chart. But they are an area. Always remember that. Now, this was a huge green candle. All the way up to here. By the time the 30-minute candle closed, it was a red candle. A lot can happen in 30 minutes. Okay. So here's where we opened last night. This was the low from yesterday. There's our target. We ran up to the zone, found resistance, blue and climbing, turned to red and falling. We get a leg, and a retracement, and a leg, and a retracement, and a leg. Takes us to the zone. Then another pull back to the BBC, and another trip to the short target. I said zone, I meant target. And then buyers come in, and they bid us up all the way to the zone, and they push us all the way up to the target, which was this high from yesterday. Now, what about this? Well, if you look left, you'll see what's called a bearish cross. It's when the red line gets below the green line. When you have a bearish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area. Look at the horizontal line on my cursor. First time price revisits that area, it will almost always be support. Same is true of a bullish cross, just in the opposite direction. In Q. This was the open last night. Pulled up to the BBC. We got above it, but we were not able to take out that high. That high was a little bit of an anomaly. We've seen it across a couple markets. Okay. So we quickly rolled over. Blue and climbing became red and falling. So we got a leg, a retracement. Remember, the pullback holds more often than not. And it took us all the way down to the short target and lower. And if you look left, you'll know why. Support sends the market to resistance, BBC. When you approach the BBC from above, you expect support. When you approach from below, you expect resistance. It's really simple. So we pull up to the BBC and we get a leg all the way down to and through the target. Support sends us to resistance. Resistance sends us back to support. Over and over, again and again. That's why when I say price flows the same across all markets and all time frames, many people have difficulty embracing that. Well, gold and Amazon, they have different personalities. Okay. No argument there. But no matter what market you look at, no matter what stock, no matter what futures contract, ETF, crypto, price goes from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. So once you learn how to trade, which is our goal is to teach you how to trade. Once you learn how to trade, you can trade anything, anywhere, anytime when opportunity presents itself. And that's a very important part of the learning process, is understanding where there are windows of opportunity. Nature abhors a vacuum, so do the markets. If you find a vacuum, all you got to do is just wait for it to be filled. And in most cases, it will be. All right, that's all the indices, S&P, Dow, Russell, NQ. Let's go to crude oil. Here's where we opened last night. Prices trapped. Support, resistance. Once we get resistance, blue and climbing, turn to red and falling, and bang, down we go. This candle opened at 82.70. That put in a low at 82.30. Hang on. I opened at 82.70. Put in a low at 82.30. So that's $400 per contract traded. If you're in the right to trade 10 contracts, then that candle represents $4 grand. Just make sure you don't put the cart before the horse. Okay? Got to learn the strategy. 2420 Blueprint's going to walk you through that. You're going to put together 10 days in your demo account where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less. That's to prove to yourself that you understand the strategy. Okay? Once you accomplish that, then the blueprint will give you the green light to go live with 1 contract. Now your goal is to increase your account balance by $2 grand. Once you do that, the blueprint will give you the green light to add a 2nd contract. Now the big difference between the 1st and 2nd contract is the 1st contract is funded with your startup capital, the money you use to fund your account. The 2nd contract is funded with profit you earned in the market. Blueprint will tell you when it's time to add number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 10, all the way up to number 20. By then, you probably have the hang of it. It's called the 2420 Blueprint because it's designed to help you go from 1 to 20 contracts over a period of 24 months. That's giving you 4 months of cushion there to actually learn the strategy. Now, should it take you 4 months to put together your 10 consecutive days in a row? That depends on you. Do you show up every day? Do you ask every question that pops into your mind? Do you follow the rules? See, do you have patience and discipline? See, these are questions that we can't answer for you. Okay? Some people, in 10 days, they're up and running. Others, it takes longer. It's not a competition. There's no shame. We're all on the same page. We're all on the same team. And we're all trying to help one another succeed. Plain and simple. Unlike many of the trading communities you may have come across on the internet, where there's backstabbing and greed and jealousy and all these other things, in our discussion group, where you're able to talk with our other traders, you won't find any of that. We don't allow that. Michael and I decided long ago, back in 2006, that we were going to put something together where people could come and actually learn how to trade in a family-friendly environment. And by the grace of God, here we are, 18 years later. Is that even possible? Yeah, it is. And the vision God gave us has come to pass. Must have been His idea. So we pull up to the BBC, we find resistance. So we drop to the target, we drop through the target, trace back to red and falling, continue lower, and if you look left, you'll know why. Then price gets above the BBC, retraces back to the BBC, the pullback holds more often than not. See, held here, held here, held here, held here, and here, and here. But eventually it will trade through, okay? That keeps the markets fluid and tradable. So we get a leg, we get a retracement, we get a leg, get a retracement. That's how price moves. Rarely does it move in a straight line, okay? Now, this is a 30-minute candle. If you looked inside the 30-minute candle, if you went down to like a 5-minute or a 1-minute, you'd see there was a whole lot of pumping and bumping and grinding during the life of that 30-minute candle. Okay. Now this candle kind of has that look of I am the high of the day. But we will trade whatever's in front of us. So we expect the pullback to hold. until proven otherwise. Now, even though we spiked here, you see both candles are still touching the BBC. Sometimes you'll just touch it. Sometimes you'll spike it, but you never let go of it. That held. So now the question is, does this hold or not? If it holds, then we'll have opportunities on the long side. If it doesn't hold, we'll have opportunities on the short side. Gold, here's where we opened last night, right at a zone. Red and falling. Again, these are the zones published Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So we open at a zone, we consolidate. Only 3 things happen at a zone. 70% of the time is going to be consolidation. 20% of the time, rejection. 10% of the time, the slice. So we get above the BBC, we get a leg and a retracement, and a leg and a retracement, and then a leg and a retracement, and we're at the target. Now, you only need gold to move $1 to get your goal for the day. From $23.99 to $24, goal for the day. When the price of gold moves $1, that's worth $100 per contract. When crude moves $1, that's $1,000 per contract. Silver moves $1, that's $5,000 per contract. The S&P, you only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. And then when you earn, and now that's $100, right? You're not going to pay your bills with that. But then when you earn the right to trade 2 contracts, and you add that second contract with profit you earned in the market, same 2 points now pay you $200. And at 3 contracts, the same 2 points pay you $300. And at 10 contracts, the same 2 points pay you $1,000. Earn your way up the ladder. 1 contract at a time, when it's time, and you only add additional contracts with profit you earned in the market. Okay, silver. This is where we opened. Put in a double bottom. Here's yesterday's swing low, yesterday afternoon. And then last night's swing low. And then this morning's swing low. And then we could go back over here. We could say we have a quadruple bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, price open trapped between support and resistance. Buyers overcame the resistance, took us up to the target, consolidated for an hour and a half, and then reached up and 28.68 and a half. So we missed it by a couple pennies. But the good news is it only takes 2 pennies to get your goal for the day. This candle opened at 28.40 and it ran up to 28.47. 7 pennies, that's $350 per contract traded. So target, resistance, back to support, and then resistance here at red and falling, but we overcome red and falling, and we hit the target again. Okay. And then resistance sends us looking for support, which we did not get at the BBC. Pullback held, and the pullback held. And right now, 28.30 to 28.28, that would give you your goal for the day. Euro. Here's where we opened. We came down to the zone, found support at the zone, and then at the BBC. That got us above red and falling, turning it to blue and climbing. We didn't quite make it all the way to the target, but we made it far enough to get your goal for the day. Then blue and climbing turns to red and falling. We drop through BBC. We consolidate for a bit, and then down we go. Now, this candle sliced through the zone. It was a red candle all the way down. But by the time the 30-minute candle closed, price had retraced back to the zone it sliced through. Then it continued in the direction of the slice. Still haven't reached the short target. Got to take out this low. And that would bring us down to this low. And on the daily chart, we now have a low, still 50, 41, 75. Support here, here, and here. And ultimately, I think after here, we see this. I could be wrong, it's happened before. To become a member, go to mytradingiq.com. Now, if you've been on the trial, you got an email, the special offer, become a passport holder, and to be in the live training room with us, or in the members only workshop tonight with us. mytradingiq.com. If you have any questions, call us 949-42-EMINI. Email us support@cfrn.net. The email you received, if you've been on the trial, has a link in it. All you got to do is click it. And Valerie will go to work, and she'll send you all the material you need. And don't delete that email. If you do, she can send it again, but you're going to need it over and over. Because once you become a passport holder, you're going to get the links to all the private channels on Telegram, and there's quite a few, okay? And there's other important information, including the 2420 blueprint. So you're going to get a lot of stuff right away. You know, maybe create a folder in your email client, and every time you get an email from us, just drag it into that folder. Because at some point, we don't send you, because we don't have anything else to sell you, there's no upsells with us. Buy the passport or not. Once you buy the passport, we don't have anything else to sell you. So we're not gonna, you're not gonna be dragging an email from us every day into that folder. Okay. Create it so that you don't lose the important information Valerie sends you as soon as you become a passport holder. 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they don't have anyone to teach them how to do the job. Trading is a lonely business. A lot of our traders have already succeeded in learning to get their goal for the day, but they still like having a place to come and hang out every day. You know, probably you don't know anyone in your life, in your real life, IRL, as they call it, in real life, that speaks markets. That's why the live training room and the discussion group in Telegram is so important. There's people there that speak your language. They understand your pain, and they understand your success. And you'll always be treated with dignity and respect. That's how we roll. Along with the live training room, you get one-on-one private mentoring, no extra charge. Strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets, all time frames. As a passport holder, you get the Logic 247 alerts, the Concierge Trade alerts. You're able to attend the members-only workshop. All that and much more. It truly is everything a trader needs, all under one roof, at one low price. MyTradingIQ.com. Let's wrap it up with our good word for the day. What do you say? Yesterday we talked about the power of a shared faith. Silent night. Luke 1:31. You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you are to call him Jesus. I know it's not Christmas, but call it Christmas in April. We have sung the words of the Christmas carol, Silent Night, since infancy. Those words don't actually come from Scripture. Silent Night was a poem written by an Austrian priest in 1816. The words conjure up a serene picture of the happy couple watching their newborn baby. It's not likely, however, that there was silence. After an exhausting journey on a donkey, Joseph and the very pregnant Mary didn't check into the master suite of the Bethlehem Grand Hotel. There was no room at the inn, so they begged for the use of an animal shelter, a barn, complete with the clatter and scents of barnyard animals. It's probably anything but silent. Ask any mother about giving birth. Even with the help of modern pain-reducing medicines and sterilized environments, bravest woman rarely remains silent while giving birth. For Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, this was hardly a silent night. Oh, holy night! Of all the nights in history, this was the most holy. God set in motion his eternal plan to come to earth as the Redeemer of lost people. 2 Corinthians 5:19. For God was in Christ, reconciling the world to himself, no longer counting people's sins against them. And he gave us this wonderful message of reconciliation. Jesus came to take on himself the sins of a doomed humanity, so that we might become the righteousness of God in him. Doesn't get any holier than that. All is calm, all is bright. On that holiest of nights, our spiritual and moral darkness was forever dispelled by Jesus, the light of the world. And our fears as lost sinners were replaced by the peace and joyful assurance that we are his eternally forgiven people. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.